Okay.
Okay. In a few days, we will have been married 50 years. Honestly, I don't know that either one of us believes that we're old enough to have been married 50 years.
Yes. It just seems like just a few years ago we did our folks' 50th anniversary.
Our what?
Our folks. Our parents.
Oh, I know. Our parents seemed so old when they were married 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1 foot in the grave.
Oh, yeah. That was...
I don't know. I don't think we seem as old.
No, I wouldn't think so. In my mind, I don't feel any that much older, but my body does.
Yeah. I've been thinking about what we should talk about today, and I realized I don't want to make a video about have a good marriage. There are a lot of those. Instead, I thought we could make a video about what we've learned and what surprised us. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
So I've got some questions that we can take turns drawing, and I've used my Disneyland bag because that's one of our favorite places to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm going to let you go first.
All right, first one. If you could... if you could be your...
Say, if you could talk to your 21st.
Oh, if you could talk to your 21st.
No, your 20th. I wrote it wrong. Okay. If you could tell your 21-year-old self one thing,
what would it be? Stay in school.
Stay in school.
I think that would be one thing I need to stay in school.
That would have been good. That would have been good. If I could tell my 18-year-old self one thing, what would it be? It would be, you're not as smart as you think you are.
You were pretty smart back then.
I know, but I thought I had it all figured out. I did not. Okay. All right, my turn. What's become more important and less important over the years? More important is my faith. Absolutely. It's what holds me together, keeps me going, gives me hope, gets me through hard times, helps me be able to say, this is going to be over. And what's become less important, how I look. Mm-hmm. That doesn't bother me as much. I'm sliding south. Okay.
Okay, and I would say what's become more important as a family is our relationship with one another, and the fact that we put more time and energy into the family, and less things on things outside the family. I mean, we get so caught up in work and things that spending time together is to me is the most important.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, what's something you've learned from each other? Patience. Patience and...
Does that mean that I have been so awful you've had to become patient?
No, I think you've had to become patient with me, that's for sure. So, yeah, I would think that I've just learned that, you're more important.
Oh, okay.
I really would. And, I've learned that basically that I want to include you in everything I do.
I like that.
Okay.
Something I've learned from you is how to say, I love you, and to be loving. And the reason I say that is because I come from a really English background family where we loved each other, and I knew my parents loved me without a doubt, but they never said it. They never gave me hugs or anything. It was just an understood thing, and it was kind of stiff. And so when we were first married and you were saying, I love you all the time, it was like a surprise, and that you wanted to like rub my arm and everything. And the biggest surprise is when I'd go over to your family's house and they're all hugging each other and kissing each other on the cheek, and I was like, whoa, what is happening here? But I really like it. And so all of our kids, all the time, whenever we leave, whenever we end a phone call, they always say, I love you. I love you. Everybody's saying, I love you all the time. Leave the house. I love you. And so we say it. My kids say it. My grandkids say it. And so that's a really good thing I learned from you.
Well, I think it's good.
Did I draw that or did you draw it?
I drew it.
You drew it. Okay, so it's my turn. What's one difficult season that changed your marriage, and what did it teach you? So the most difficult season for me was when we lived in the Springville twin home.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary had been having a hard time making a living and knowing what to do. And then this was also during Jimmy Carter's
And it's 21%.
administration. Yeah, and the interest
rate.
rates were really, really high. There weren't hardly any jobs. And you were getting like really poor jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And we were so broke that we had a hard time buying food. And I remember one day opening the door and somebody from church had left a box of food because they suspected that we didn't have hardly any food in the house when we didn't. And then we were really struggling with infertility, and I was having to have surgeries. And I had had one ovary removed, and then I had to have a surgery to have a piece of the other one removed.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really terrifying. And we had the one little boy, so I couldn't really work. And my mom came up, and she saw what condition we were in, so she took me and Stephen down to their house so I could recover and not have to worry about money and stuff. And when I was down there and it was so hard, and I cried about being with you and I cried about not being with you. So either thing seemed really hard because I was just so scared. But what happened is one day my dad just suddenly said, why doesn't Gary go in the Air Force? And it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. Yeah. And so I told him, and he was shocked. And then he went in the Air Force, and then it just changed him. He just grew up and did so well, and he had a crisis with that where he knew he had to do well. And I was so proud of him, and I loved seeing him in his uniform. I always say that today. So what did it teach me? For one thing, it taught me that I just cannot be without him.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what the hard times are, no matter what we've gone through. And we've said over the years, I don't know how we could get through this if we didn't have a good marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
So that taught me I really did want to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your turn.
Well, I would say, yeah, going to the Air Force was quite an ordeal. I mean, it changed everything. I mean, it changed just the way you look at things. I mean, expect the unexpected. You don't know what's going to happen. So there were good things and things that I didn't really enjoy, but it was a good experience. So I think it did. It put me on track for things I'd be doing later on.
Yeah. So what did it teach you?
Well, believe in myself.
To believe in himself. He was never the same afterwards, in a good way. In a good way. Well, he did get his associate degree in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. So that was a good thing that came out of that. All right, is it your turn? Yeah. I think it's your turn.
Okay. What's one thing I can't read without my glasses.
Okay, you put your glasses on. It was the glare. I had to take it off because of the glare.
What's one thing you've learned about forgiveness? It's never ending.
I think I must be quite a problem.
No, I'm thinking of myself.
Yeah.
No, I'm just, really forgiveness, and we make mistakes constantly. I mean, every day I mean, I know just for myself, and I, what am I going to do to improve, how I'm going to handle these situations in the future, when things arise. And we've been through so much. I mean, through work issues, money issues. We've gone through housing. We've bought and sold and lost on housing. So it's been difficult, but the one thing is basically we forgive each other of our mistakes, and we're able to move on.
Yeah, I would say that. I think that over the years we've become practiced at forgiveness. And so it's not even something I have to think about anymore. I'm mad at him. I need to forgive him. I'm just assuming he's forgiving me. He acts like he is. But at first it was hard. In the early years you get mad at each other, and there's a tendency to hang on. And we were always told by our parents, and then we were also told by the man who married us, that we shouldn't go to bed mad. And maybe some of you have heard that. If you haven't, you shouldn't. You should do it. The guy that married us told us that we should pray with each other every night, and it's hard to before we go to bed, it's hard to stay mad at each other if you're saying a prayer. But we did learn that over the years, and the longer we've been married, the easier it is to just do it and not even have to think about it. Wouldn't you agree? Okay. And I think some people just give up too soon. They give up before you arrive at that point, because it does take a while to get to that where you become comfortable and easy with each other, but you also have to be willing to forgive. Some people just like to keep, stay angry. Okay.
Your turn.
It's my turn. What surprised you most about marriage? I would say that it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And that it was just like weird things that would bug me. I never thought that my husband would forget to pick me up.
She's never forgiven me for that one.
I've forgiven you for it. But it's still surprising.
Well, I think that
I'm not mad
I think that what surprised me the most is the expectations of the marriage, the things you have to do. Okay, you're doing your part to take care of the house, and and I expect you to do certain things. You expect me to do certain things. And I think that's one of the things that is surprising, is how, everything is us.
Yes, everything's us.
Everything's us, and our kids are us, and so what, I do some things better than she, and she does things better than I do.
Yeah. That's one thing that's good about our marriage, is that we have strengths in different areas. So together, we say that a lot, together we're a complete person.
Yeah, your talents are far beyond mine, but
don't ask me to fix anything.
she can't fix anything.
No.
But
no.
So it works out. I mean, I think that's what we do, is we work against each other's strengths, to make things work.
Yeah. So it's my turn.
Your turn.
What did you believe about marriage that turned out not to be true? I thought marriage would be like my parents' marriage, which was good. But like my dad handled all the money, and he would just give my mom an allowance, and she had to buy like the clothes and the food and stuff. And then she could do whatever she wanted, because Dad was over there taking care of the important things. But then it turned out that I'm the one that's better with money, and I'm not good at it. But I'm better than he is.
I can spend it.
So I've had to do it, and I've got all the bills set up so they're automatic. And if anything happened to me, everything's already automatically happening with the bank account and stuff. But I would say that managing money is not our forte.
No.
But I'm better at it than he is, so I had to take that over, which really surprised me. Okay.
Well, I would have to think that the one thing that's turned out is basically that once the honeymoon's over, you fall into the everyday. You still have to live your life. I still have to live mine. We just having to deal with okay, what she's going to think and what you're going to think about me when we make a decision. If would Gary like this or would Roseanne like this? We try to make sure that we're in agreement.
Yeah.
And we just can't arbitrarily just go off and do what we want. Okay, how have you changed? Well, I guess being more patient, understanding, trying to empathize more with Roseanne and her difficulties with her health, and picking up the things that need to be done. Just not just letting things sit. Sink full of dishes doesn't help anybody. So I think basically, taking care of each other and being willing to do that.
I think you've changed a lot in a good way.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah. He's very concerned about me and how I'm doing all the time. Where when you first get married, it's just easy for everybody to be in their own head and thinking about what they want. And so you went from that, thinking about what you wanted, to really being very considerate. It's very gentle, very kind with me. Well, he wasn't ever not kind, but no, I guess we just grew up. How I've changed, I hope I've improved.
Oh, yes, you have. You have.
I really think that's the thing, though, is just what you said about you just start to be more concerned about how the things you do affect your spouse. Instead of how does everything affect me? Although, everybody to their certain extent is always thinking about that. But in the back of my mind all the time is, how is this going to affect Gary too? Okay, my turn. What's something you appreciate now that your younger self never noticed? Well, when we first got married, I just assumed everything, the food would be there, the housing would be there. My parents made it seem so easy because they saved some money, they built a house, and they lived in that house the whole time I was being raised. There was never any worry about where things were going to come. And Dad always had had businesses, and it just went along. So now, because things have been harder for us, I know, like, we have this nice house now, but we've lived through some really rough times when it'd be scary about paying the house and buying the food. There was one year I was not able to buy my 14-year-old daughter clothes. She had 2 pairs of pants. I was scared about what we were going to do for Christmas, so we went through a lot of years like that. And now I just appreciate any stability that we have, and I appreciate you working and things more than just assuming that those things are going to be there.
Yeah. So,
what would you say?
Well, I would think that exactly what you're saying about, the hard times when it hit. This is like when we had that, we bought a house that we didn't have a clear title. And the havoc that thing caused us, we couldn't sell it. We had to acquire the title, and we had to,
That was hard.
It was one thing. It was just very disruptive in our marriage. Was trying to get that worked out so we could. We left California when I was working for the Navy down there, and we bought a house, and then the housing just collapsed down there, and we ended up trying to rent a house, and then eventually we lost it because we couldn't sell it, and
we couldn't rent it.
We couldn't rent it. It was just an impossible situation, and those things are the things that are really hard, and just basically how you deal with uncertainty like that.
Yeah, we had 2 major problems with houses because of the economy and everything collapsing and not being able to sell the house, and even a realtor not wanting to list the house because the housing price had collapsed and we ended up losing those houses. And so now we don't take it for granted that we have a place to live.
Yeah. Well, this is like right now with the way the economy is. We don't, even though we've got a lot of equity in this home, it could be gone tomorrow. And that's
that's one thing we know. People just assume you're going to get a house and then it's going to have equity and you're going to have that. We have twice in our lives seen any equity in the house just totally disappear. So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but we believe that the Lord will help us through it because He's helped us before. Okay, it's my turn or your turn?
Yes, your turn.
What's your favorite ordinary moment now? It's eating dinner up here and watching TV with you in our recliners. It's just like
we don't go to the because everything we ever want to watch is streamed. I mean, on the internet. So we watch all the things we want to do, and with the way prices go on movies, it's just
Yeah. I would call this an ordinary moment, but my favorite thing is when we're able to go to a musical.
Yeah,
or
a play.
We really love that. But just ordinary moments. It's at the end of the day, we sit and eat our dinner here in our recliners and watch TV. Okay.
So we have a beautiful yard, but we can't. It's too hot.
It's too hot. We can't go out and enjoy it because it's too hot. Okay, your turn.
Okay.
What's your favorite ordinary moment?
Oh, it's just when we can get out and do things. I love vacations. I love vacations. We love going down to Disneyland.
We'd be there this week, except it's too hot.
And it's too hot.
He's about ready to go back to work.
And I got to go back to work.
He drives bus.
School bus, and so that's so everything is kind of hinges on how you're feeling at the time, what time you have, how much money, what the kids are doing. We've got a full house.
We have a full house.
Full house, eight people in this house, and 2 pets. And
so we've been talking about going on a little road trip because we like that, just close around. But it's really hot, and now we've got that puppy. It's like, what do we do with the puppy? So what do we do with her? So I don't think we get to go this year because we could take her with her in the car, but it's too hot to even get out of the car and go walk around and stuff. So I guess we're just gonna stay home. Okay, this is the last one.
Okay,
it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
What are you most grateful we didn't give up on? Our kids.
Yeah.
Our kids. We have had some very difficult situations with our children and handicaps and just things that have happened and situations that maybe some people would have just given up on their kids. I know that sounds really extreme, but it's true, and I won't say why. You just have to trust me. But I'm glad we didn't give up with them because they're all doing well now. And we maintain our family. Mm-hmm. And I'm really grateful. But it was hard. Oh, we had some really, really rough years. But all's well seems to have ends well. they're in situations and doing better than at points in their lives it looked like they'd be doing. And we're really grateful that we had them. So I'm really glad we didn't give up on our kids.
Oh yeah, that was the big thing. Is basically we love our granddaughters. They're such a joy to us.
Yes.
And we love having them here because we only have 2 granddaughters, and so we're fortunate to have them and to be able to do things with them and be able to see them grow up and enjoy school and their friends. And so basically it's like it's an extended family, really. I mean,
our extended family. Yeah, but we wouldn't have had to give up on them. They're just wonderful. But so our granddaughters moved in when the younger one was 1, the older one was 7. So now they're 8 and 15. So we've been here and have got to take care of them and grow up. Their mom takes care of them. We just get to be grandma. Just because they're here in the house doesn't mean that we are raising them.
Mm-hmm.
We just get to enjoy them, and then we help their mom with things like watching them after school or picking them up for school, or things like just having them around. It's like the 15-year-old just likes to come in and talk to us. And
she started work.
yeah, and we just had some really, really fun times with them. And we're just really, really grateful for that. I always say that grandkids are the reward for getting through your kids' high school years.
Yeah.
I know when our youngest graduated from high school, I was like, yes, I did it.
Yeah.
And so that's wonderful. Anyway, we should at least, did we say how we met?
No.
I think we should at least say that. So I was 14. It was the summer before I went into 9th grade, and I was up at a music clinic. We had a Saturday dance, and our counselors warned us to look out for the Provo boys who would come over and crash the dances so they can meet the girls. He was one of those Provo boys. He was going to be a senior, and I was standing there with my roommate who was the head cheerleader of a big high school in Salt Lake, and she was beautiful. So this really cute boy is walking toward me, and I was just assuming he was going to ask her, because I was just a little twerp,
Mm-hmm.
But he asked me.
Yeah. She had these beautiful blue eyes.
That's what he always says. The eyes got him.
Well, got me.
The eyes got him. And by the time I figured out that he wasn't with a group, because I'd ask him, well, what instrument do you play? And he said the clarinet.
Which is true.
Yeah, when he was in 8th grade, he played the clarinet. But by the time I figured out that he wasn't with us, that he was one of those pro boys, it was too late. I already liked him. So that's how we met.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really date until we got engaged. We wrote letters.
Yeah.
We hadn't really seen each other much, but we fell in love through writing through letters.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 18, going to turn 19 in November when he got married, and we got married, and he was just home from his mission and was 21. But we were
babies.
we were babies, but we were just too attracted to each other to not get married, I think.
Yeah.
It almost felt like we'd recognized each other from before, and that we were always meant to be together. And I really can't imagine being with anyone else. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay. My leg has gone to sleep.
Roll over.
Let's try to get up. Old people.